This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on what your kids are spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/iHeart.
I'm Rodney Williams.
And I'm Travis Holloway. Welcome to the Wealth Break Podcast, a real conversation about finance.
Let's be honest, building wealth doesn't look the same for everyone.
I feel like sometimes being broke is a cycle and that we might have to revisit that.
And we're not stopping at success stories.
What happens when it doesn't go right? How do you cope with it?
Because wealth isn't just about money. It's about creating a life where you thrive and help others do the same.
Listen to the Wealth Break Podcast on the iHeartRadio app.
And boom!
Common man, no show prep, no solid plan. Spins a yarn, begins a tale. The esoteric approach won't fail. Tune in, it's time for Common Man. Common man, charms the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Oh boy! Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello.
And Peyton Manning takes the knee for the third straight time, and that should do it, folks. The final score of Super Bowl 41, the Colts 29, the Bears 17, and look at the pandemonium from the Indianapolis sideline down here in Miami. Colts spilling onto the field. Oh, and there we go, the Gatorade bath for Coach Tony Dungy, and it's Mike Doss applying the Gatorade bath. Good to hear from Mike Doss tonight as the Colts are your Super Bowl 41 champions.
I think we have a very good mix right now. I mean, the morning show does well, comparatively speaking, especially given what it has to go against. Dubers and I have done well, knock on wood, for 4 years. Common and Hartman have done okay, and Barrero is, in my estimation, the primetime player on our station. And cultivating a couple of kids in Sludge and Lake, and we have the Vikings and maybe some things down the road. So I think we're strong right now.
Wow, what a great bare-chested man mind. Wow, what a great reading between the lines mind. Wow, what a great predicting how the rain would affect the Super Bowl mind. Wow, what a great how to pick up chicks at the Rube Chat party mind.
Game plan looks like. I'm pulling my tickets!
Big in my mind, regardless of when we play it. Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night, Tuesday night. Every game is big, and especially where we're at right now. From here on out, every game is a big game. So that's the way we approach it. And, week in and week out is a big game.
Welcome back to the spotlight, young man.
Well, thank you very much.
He's the clown from Brown. He's the fourth in the north.
That is correct.
This is the common man, Dan Cole.
Hey, that would be me, ack, and dak, to you and yours. It is a Fed Up Friday. We're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And so we've decided what used to be a FedEx Friday, meaning we mailed it in. We still mail it in. It was just the UPS people were like, well, what about us? So we just changed it to a Fed Up Friday. We're here until 3. Tenna B is with me as always. Program password at 1:30. No Little B today. She is on a spring break with the family, I believe. So, no, that's okay. It's all right. I think I actually need a break from Little B, I think.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I know the joke is always, everybody needs a break from Common. Trust me, you, her, Abbott, all the other people around here are no picnic either. It's not like you guys are all wonderful to be around. Oh, I just can't wait to see him again. I mean, you deal with her. You know how she is. I mean, I love her, but I'm just saying, sometimes it's nice to get a break.
Did you ever have a gal tell you that she needs a break?
No, never.
Because I had one, but it was actually a permanent break.
Oh, well, yeah.
It was a little deceiving with that. I just needed a little break. No, you just want to be done forever.
And then let me guess, she said, it's not you, it's me.
She did. She exactly said those words.
Yeah. It's not you. They think that'll soften the blow.
Yeah, but they
don't mean it.
They left you hanging on a cliff like, oh, there still might be a chance at this someday.
It's not you, it's me. No, it's not. You're just saying that. Well, it really is you. You don't know what you're missing. You're going to regret it someday. You will rue the day you cut ties.
I can't imagine how much she's regretting leaving this.
Can you blame her? I mean, you're going to be working for Traffic Copter 12. Someday you're going to get that job. I know you are. Program password today. That means we'll have 3 people come to the studio, not just a Little B and I and 2 others. Chad Greenway makes his program password debut today.
No.
It would be awful fun to have him in. And does he understand the game? Does he know how it works and everything like that? And then who are the other 2 people we're having?
Meat Sauce and John Creasel.
Lucky. What are the teams going to be? Can I ask?
It's going to be you and Greenway.
Okay.
Versus Sauce and Creasel.
Okay. Should be interesting. That's
interesting.
That's a good foursome, I think. So I'm looking forward to that. So we have that to get to. Twins lose. By the way, the Astros ain't the White Sox. So the Twins lose. Minnesota Timberwolves, though, tend to be. They continue to, we call Gellin and Stackin is what they do. Minnesota Wild trying to cling to a playoff spot. The parade route being planned for the Wibbett Championship for the Minnesota Golden Gopher women's team. Nico Medved, the new coach of the Minnesota men's basketball team over at the University of Minnesota. His contract and the buyout was approved today by the regents. And more Aaron Rodgers talk. With all of that to get to, Tenneby, I'm not really sure where to start today. Why don't we spin the wheel of topics?
Commons golf game.
Well, I finally did get out. It's been a week, but I did play today.
What'd you shoot today?
81.
Where'd we play?
The Loggers Trail.
Where'd you hit it on? One?
Right up the gut.
How far from the greenwood?
I had 147 to a back right pin.
Second shot?
I laced an iron in. I wanted to make sure, it's in that back right little tongue, so I didn't want to miss it and be in that little.
Yeah.
So I played it left of the green, and I was actually just off the green on the fringe, had 25 feet for birdie.
Then what?
Hit it 9 feet past.
Huh.
Then what?
Made the 9-footer coming back because I'm as good as 50% of the putters on the PGA Tour. Though I did have a 3-putt today. I was brilliant or brutal. I had 3 birdies today. I birdied 3, 8, and 13, the par 3, the uphill. You know which one it is, right? Loggers 13, the uphill par 3 tend to be with the little kind of hourglass green. You're not even listening, are you?
Sorry, I was reading an Aaron Rodgers story.
Oh. He says it's not a library, it's a radio show. Last I checked.
Sorry, you want me to hear about your
13
riveting golf round again?
I was asking you a question. Are you familiar with hole 13?
I always have to count them out. So 10, 11,
par 3.
Yes, the par 3.
I birdied that today.
Wow.
I hit a beautiful shot with a little bit of a crosswind to 15 feet, and I made the putt. But in addition to the 3 birdies, I also had 3 doubles and a triple. So. No! But it's funny. It was a good 81, if there is such a thing, because I just feel like I'm hitting the ball so well. I obviously hit some bad shots today too, but I already feel like what I'm trying to say, Tennessee, this is a really big year for me. A really big year. What's the Aaron Rodgers news? Is he in Pittsburgh?
It's not like news. No. It's like a speculation story.
Speculation.
It's one of those bring me the news stories. The headline is New Aaron Rodgers buzz, waiting for Vikings or stealing the spotlight from Green Bay. Talks about how he might just be waiting for the draft is in Green Bay this year. Okay. So he might just be waiting for draft day to come up with his announcement to steal some thunder.
Oh, that would be the way he operates. Yep. I've had this theory where I don't know if players actually do this, but there are certain players, Aaron Rodgers would be one, the stars, right? That they can actually change the news cycle in an instant, right? They could be sitting there watching, ESPN Sports Center, and Aaron Rodgers could do some take. Watch this. I'm thinking of retiring from pro football. I can't find a place I want to play. That would immediately be breaking news. Schefter would be contacting him. Rappaport would be talking to him. I mean, it would be front page news. And he could just do that just on a whim when he doesn't even really mean it. So he's sitting there with his buddies and goes, watch this. And he could just do it. There are people that have that kind of power. So, whether it happens,
favorite, you're not on social media, but like on Twitter or X, I should say. Whenever something breaks, it'll be like 8 reporters all at the exact same time, all tweeting the exact same thing. Basically, just because an agent spammed it to all the reporters that, hey, by the way, Aaron Rodgers is going to sign with the Steelers, and then they'll all tweet it at the exact same time.
Right. And that's, some people, that is their job description. That would be the Rappaports and the Schefters, is their job is to break news, to be an insider. And you and I have discussed that before. I'm sure it pays well, and there are worse jobs to have. But I would, to have to just constantly be, you're on call forever, right? Because you could get, you're calling people and you're tracking things down, and this person tells you to contact that person, you contact this person, and then all of a sudden a call goes at 10 o'clock at night, and it's just
you tweet at 3 a.m.
Yeah, and then exactly, and then as we've said before, like even if it was one person, I think you're absolutely right. You're spot on. Where an agent spams 8 people and they all report at the same time. But we've talked about this. Let's say, for instance, you had some inside information that Kirill Kaprizov do they play the Wild play tonight?
They do. They got the Islanders tonight.
That you heard Kirill Kaprizov will play tonight, right?
Yeah.
So let's say right now you tweeted out sources. I'm reporting Kirill Kaprizov will play tonight. You send that out. The people that follow you, there's probably other people out there, the Russos of the world or whoever, they would see that and immediately say, sources say, so then, and they would be like 30 seconds behind you. And then nobody really knows, because maybe nobody follows you, but they follow Russo. They think Russo
he gets all the credit.
Yeah. So it's like, and it's all fighting over a couple of minutes. And I think the average fan, unless they're the ones that are really into it, I mean, that they just stare at their phones waiting because they need to know right away. That's why I've said before, the reason I don't follow a lot of the breaking news people is like, I'll find out eventually if Aaron Rodgers signs with the Vikings. Sooner or later, I'm going to find out. And so finding out at, like, let's say 12 and 25 seconds like it is right now, where 12:26 in 32 seconds doesn't really make that big of a difference. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Got plenty to get to, including controversial Vikings news. That's all part of our Peek at the Purple. That's coming up next. Common Man program on the Fan.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
You know how we're always talking about what's next? Well, I found it. It's called Formula E. Forget everything you think you know about racing. This isn't just cars going fast. It's like a supercomputer on wheels. The tech is insane, and the drivers, they're like chess grandmasters at 200 miles per hour. You've got to see it. Trust me. You'll be hooked. Follow Formula E live on Roku. Next race, Miami, April 12th.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on what your kids are spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/iHeart.
Thumbtack presents the ins and outs of caring for your home. Out. Procrastination. Putting it off. Kicking the can down the road. In. Plans and guides that make it easy to get home projects done. Out. Carpet. In the bathroom. Like, why? In. Knowing what to do, when to do it, and who to hire. Start caring for your home with confidence. Download Thumbtack today.
You're listening to The Fan.
That sounds like a heck of a concert. I might want to show up with some friends.
Join Meat Sauce and Nardo for a live broadcast of Saturdays with Sauce at the Twin Cities Auto Show on Saturday, April 19th. Drop by the iHeart Zone from noon to 2 p.m. to catch the show, meet the guys, and to snag your KFAN gear. Get the full details now at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
That sounds like a heck of an event. I might want to show up with some friends. Hope to see you there. Well, I won't be there, but Meat Sauce and Nordo will be. There are a number of different ways you can contact us here at The Fan. First of all, a carrier pigeon. I don't know how I'm going to get it into the building, though, and I might have to go to the elevator and then let us know when you're in the vestibule. Pony Express probably won't work because I don't think you can get the horse inside the building. But you can call us, 1-800-320-5326. We won't answer, so don't bother. I don't check email anymore, but booth@KFAN.com if something's urgent. As a matter of fact, like if you had a long rambling dissertation, much of which was lifted from the book of Deuteronomy, you could text me and say, hey, Common, will you please check the booth@KFAN.com email account because I didn't have enough time in a text message to tell you what I wanted to tell you. Then there's the talk back, iHeartRadio app, download it, search stations, find it. When you see the fan, tap the microphone icon in the corner of the screen. You have 30 seconds or less to deliver us an audio message. Then there's our Bradshaw and Bryant, KFAN text line at 64686. This one says, I know you're a gadfly and an instigator, but can you just let me honestly know now if you really plan on doing more Aaron Rodgers talk because I have some gravel to polish. I hire that out myself. Now, when it comes to watching paint dry, I enjoy that. And I don't mind sorting my own socks. I know which socks go with which. And then the boiling hot vat of asphalt I do on my own because I don't want it dripping all over my garage floor. I can't respond individually to each person to tell you what's on the menu today. I can't go, today we're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers, just so you know. I don't know. And I don't know if I'm going to talk about him. I think I've explained it before. I'm a radio gardener. I'm not an architect. I don't know what we're going to do next segment. All I know is I got to get to 1:30.
What if there was breaking Aaron Rodgers news? Can we not talk about him then?
Yeah, that's it. But I also don't know what I do want to talk about. I mean, that's why we spun the wheel of topics. I didn't know where we're going to start today. I just don't know. It's whatever tickles my fancy. There was another text message that came in, and we get these occasionally too. This one says, the good to hear from Mike Doss clip. Is that Guardsy? No, that's a Kevin Harlan calling for the Super Bowl. No, that is Guardsy. And the inside joke to that is when the Vikings acquired Mike Doss from the Colts, I think the Barney the Purple Dinosaurs of the world were saying, "Now we got a guy with Super Bowl experience." And like, he didn't play in that Super Bowl. He never got on the field. He was on the bench. And so we just thought it was funny. That's like, so we
didn't have any highlights of him. Right. So we came up with our own highlight.
Because you always have to hype whatever the local teams do. Any move they make is a great move. It's got to be a great move. This is going to pay off. Trust me. And oftentimes they do. We know that, but oftentimes those moves don't pay off.
And I don't think Mike Doss did anything memorable for the Vikings. Do you remember him in any way, shape, or form other than our highlight?
Yes. I don't know if he ever did he even see the field with us. I don't know what he did. It was probably,
I'm going to Google him, see what he's up to.
Maybe, especially, like a third down specialist or something like that. I don't think he was an every down player and made a big impact. But, so we just always like to have fun with those kinds of things. Twins lost last night, 5-2. They got off to a good start. They had a 2-0 lead in the first inning. And,
he did play 8 games for the Purple, by the way.
Oh, he did.
Had a combined 6 tackles.
Well,
5 tackles, 1 assisted. And then zeros all across the board.
So, in other words, Mike Doss's experience in the Super Bowl really didn't mean that much here when he played with the Minnesota Vikings.
He now works for the Robert Weiler Company as sales and development specialist in Columbus, Ohio.
What does he do? Say that again?
He works for the Robert Weiler Company as sales and development specialist in Columbus, Ohio.
Sweet. Good for him.
Married to 3 kids.
Good for him. So Mike Doss, living large. We appreciate Mike Doss's contributions to the Minnesota Vikings and to society at large. So Twins got off to a 2-0 lead, I believe, and I think Joe Ryan was splendid. Did he strike out the side in the first inning? Is that what I read, or did I make that up? Anyway, we got off to a good start, and then that was it. The first inning was about all we had. Hunter Brown pitches for the Houston Astros, and he held the Twins to 5 hits, just 2 after that first inning. Here's I don't want to say this is disturbing or alarming, but because it is early in the season, but it's something to keep an eye on. Now, here's my problem. LaBelle guaranteed me, not only in his column, but in a private text to me, they will swing the sticks. So that's why I've been pretty optimistic about the Twins this year, thinking we're going to get off to that rip-roaring kind of a start, right? Well, we're 2-5. And the 2 games almost should have asterisks with them, right? Because they were the Chicago White Sox. So in the win column, there should be an asterisk.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Well, they beat the White Sox. It basically beat...
It's a AAA team. It's not a major league team.
Is it AAA or is it even AA? I don't even...
How would the St. Paul Saints do against the White Sox?
I think they would do quite well, to be honest with you. As a matter of fact, if they did doesn't in some league over in Europe, soccer,
relegate?
If you finish one of the last 2 teams, they just throw you out of the league and bring in 2 other teams. That would get you to try harder, wouldn't it? I mean, I harp often.
Introduce tanking.
Exactly. I harp often on the lack of effort oftentimes, but do you think Brooklyn tried really hard last night? They had guys on the bench. You get to this time of the year in the NBA, and there are so many teams that are not even. If you think they gave little effort when it was early in the year, when their record was still where it was like, hey, look, mathematically they're still in this thing. Now that they're completely eliminated, how much effort do you think they're really putting out? But the Wolves can't concern themselves with that. Just go in and do your thing for 3 quarters, and then come fourth quarter, bring it to Rudy Gobert.
By the way, it's your AL Central leading Chicago White Sox that you're making fun of.
It is not.
Well, none of them played last night other than the Twins,
okay.
So 4 teams are 2-4. Technically, the White Sox are placed on top. They must own some sort of tiebreaker, right? Because they have the best run differential of every team in the division right now. They're at +4.
I doubted them. I might end up having to apologize. If the White Sox win the division, I'll leave town. I will tell you that.
I will say it's just nice to have the AL Central back to being what I'm used to them being. Last year was a little weird to see multiple teams that were competitive.
Well, you were just looking at the standings upside down is all you were doing, Teneby. They were the same AL Central team that they always were, or division they were. But here's the trend to keep an eye on. This is in the Fish Wrap Factory West Side. This is a Phil Miller story. He did the Gamer. It says, the Twins have been held to 3 or fewer runs in 5 of their 7 games this year, and their record, 0-5 in those games. They've been limited to 5 hits or fewer 4 times already, something that happened 14 times in their final 28 games of 2024. And yes, that's the worry, that aside from a pair of wins over the White Sox, who allowed more runs than any AL team last season, this year's Twins still haven't shaken the offensive doldrums that knocked them out of a playoff spot a season ago. And again, just because they had that awful stretch last year, that final 28 when they went, I think it was like 12-26, or maybe it was even 11 and whatever the record was, it was awful. They missed the playoffs. And just because so far this season, they've kind of sort of picked up where they left off. That doesn't mean it's going to last for the entire season. Baseball tend to be, it's a funny sport. You know, you have highs and lows. You have stretches where the team plays well, where the ball kind of drops in for you, and this, that, and the other thing, and pitchers pitch well, and fielders is good. But yeah, the bats have not been good at all. Pitching hasn't been awful, but it hasn't been great either. So, and that's why you're 2-5. So, they play again. I'm assuming, is it a 4-gamer with the Astros? Or they play Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, or do they have one of those built-in day offs again because of the weather possibilities? I'm not sure. I didn't take a look at the schedule. But, yeah, they got their work cut out for them here early on the season. At Tennessee, you can use this anytime the Tanner Fitzgerald set sails. Games in March and April count the same in the standings as those in September and October.
They actually only have 3 against the Astros. They don't play today.
Yeah, so they do have that day off.
They always
built-in day off.
Yeah, they always have the built-in day off early in the season in case it's too cold one of the 2 days.
Right.
So they're off today, 2 against Houston, then they get a 4-gamer at Kansas City starting on Monday.
Okay.
And then 3 against the Tigers, so we'll have lots of AL Central opponents next week.
Okay, Rosen.
Then they got 3 at home against the Mets, and of course, got to go to Atlanta to face that tough Braves team.
Okay, Mark.
Back at home for 3 games against the White Sox, and then 3 games against the Angels, and then they finish the month out at Cleveland.
You know what? I'm glad that you're
I'm on top of things.
Here's what I'm glad about: you are filling the role of Rosen when he's not here. That's really good. Just get out your handy dandy pocket schedule out of your way. He still carries one. He carries,
along with his own calendar.
Yeah, he carries a handy-dandy Twins, that little fold-out paper schedule. Back in the day, that's all you had. It was nice to have it, right? Now you can just hit on your phone, hit Twins games, and this whole schedule will pop up on your phone. But Mark likes having that piece of paper, and I don't blame him, I guess, to be honest. We'll take a break. By the way, I didn't do Peek at the Purple.
No.
Let's just say I'm Torching the Twins was brought to you by Affordable Electric. They're looking for a journeyman electrician, competitive pay. They've got a plan, a 3% plan, simple plan. You also get a company truck. There are bonuses. You can make extra money on commissions, insurance. If you'd like to apply for the job, go to affordable-electric.com. Affordable-electric.com. Affordable Electric is, it's just shockingly affordable.
You know how we're always talking about what's next? Well, I found it. It's called Formula E. Forget everything you think you know about racing. This isn't just cars going fast. It's like a supercomputer on wheels. The tech is insane, and the drivers, they're like chess grandmasters at 200 miles per hour. You've got to see it. Trust me, you'll be hooked. Follow Formula E live on Roku. Next race, Miami, April 12th.
Thumbtack presents the ins and outs of caring for your home. Out. Indecision. Overthinking. Second-guessing every choice you make. In. Plans and guides that make it easy to get home projects done. Out. Beige on beige on beige. In. Knowing what to do, when to do it, and who to hire. Start caring for your home with confidence. Download Thumbtack today.
I'm Rodney Williams.
And I'm Travis Holloway. Welcome to the Wealth Break.
Let's be honest, building wealth doesn't look the same for everyone. It's not just about saving, it's about investing. It's about navigating systems that weren't built for you, embracing your hustle, and relying on your community to create something bigger.
And that's exactly why we created The Wealth Break. We made something different, something more human. It's not just another financial podcast. It's a conversation about real life, real struggles, and real wins.
We're here to talk about the journey. You're hearing from people who've broken barriers, found creative ways to succeed, and learned to build wealth on their terms. Whether it's the first-time homeowner, a gig worker, or someone turning a side hustle into a six-figure business, we're bringing you their stories.
And we're not stopping at success stories. We're breaking down the realities, like what it means to take risk, how to navigate failure, and why resilience matters. Because wealth isn't about money. It's about creating a life where you can thrive and help others to do the same.
So if you're ready for a podcast as much as about people as it is about money, you're in the right place.
Listen to the Wealth Break podcast on the iHeartRadio app.
Have you ever wiped with a piece of dry, single-ply toilet paper and wondered, is this as good as it gets? Well, it's not. It gets a lot better thanks to the wet, extra-large cleaning power of Dude Wipes. They comfortably clean up whatever TP leaves behind on your behind. It's time to stop being an a-hole to your b-hole and start experiencing the confident clean of Dude Wipes. Available at Amazon and at major retailers nationwide. Dude Wipes. Best clean, pants down.
Get ready for a night of nonstop laughter. Tom Segura's Come Together tour is taking over XL Energy Center on April 18th. Tickets are flying off the shelves. Don't miss out. Grab yours now at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
So there's still tickets available for that comedian show?
Still available.
Huh. There are none available for Flop, Sweat, and Tears tonight. They're gone.
Have you guys thought about a bigger venue like XL Energy Center?
Ooh, ours isn't that much smaller. It's just a tavern inside a golf course clubhouse. It seats 130. What do you think the X seats for a show like that? 15,000 probably.
Let's just say they'd be hanging some of the curtains down in the upper bowl.
Well, there's that. Hope you go. It sounds like a great time to be had by one and all.
The Power Trip could fill up the X.
Yes. Well, would be a takeover is what it would be. Power Trip takeover of the X. I heard someone sent me a text, speaking of the Power Trip, or sent me an email at comment@KFAN.com. I think I'm maybe the only host in the country that if you send me an email to my company email, I'll respond. I always do. I don't think I've heard I'll get emails from people that'll say, hey, I tried to email so-and-so, one of my coworkers, but they never got back to me. And that's fine. I know everybody's got a busy life. You're a major market radio talk show host in Minneapolis. You got a lot going on, man. I mean, you're getting pulled from every direction, and you just don't have a minute. But I got an email at comment@KFAN.com that said one of the topics of conversation on the morning show this week was somewhere in one of the parking ramps, there's a whole bunch of spit out sunflower seeds like in a pile or something.
Oh.
And they were trying to speculate who it would be, as if there's not like 8,000 people working in this building, but it has to be somebody here at the radio station, of course, right? And I guess my name was tossed in, and Meat Sauce apparently, I think, made the accusation. So
really?
It's like, I just emailed back to, I didn't get angry. I just said, Common doesn't eat sunflower seeds. I just don't. I mean, I have, but they're a bit too tedious for me for such a little tiny nut. I'll do pistachios, because pistachios got the little crack in them, so they're easy to break open, and it's a bigger nut, right? And I like the taste of it. Sunflower seeds are those little tiny things, and you break them apart, and it's just minutes. It's not worth the effort.
And they get stuck in your teeth.
Well, yeah, and now if you can buy bags of sunflower seeds lightly salted or in sunflower oil that have the shells already off. Imagine you have to do that for a living. Your job is sunflower seed de-sheller guy, because that's how it has to be done, right? So there are people somewhere at these sunflower companies, and they're taking it and they're opening up these little things. And then I wonder if they get paid by the sunflower. 1, 2, 3, and then their fingers are all over them, and then you're eating them. I'm just not a sunflower seed guy. Why would I be accused of it And
why would I want to shell this sunflower seed, by the way?
I don't know.
That's what the taste is.
Yeah. So if you eat the sunflower seed, you eat the shell too?
Well, you don't eat the shell, but you suck out the salt on it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. That's where the flavor is.
Well, I've eaten sunflower seeds that are in a bag that they've already been shelled. They taste fine because they add salt to it.
Oh, because they add to it?
Yeah, they add a little salt to them. Then I can eat them that way. So I'm sure you would be appalled if you came upon those sunflower seed shells all over there. Because, you're adamantly opposed to being at a ballpark and taking your peanut shells and dropping them on the seat below.
Bring a plastic Target bag with you.
Yeah.
Throw them in there. You shouldn't just be laying them on a parking ramp.
Well, we've had that. Well, that parking ramp, I understand the parking ramp, but the ballpark, I think that's kind of expected. I think it's part of the experience. And again, they do have people that clean up afterwards. But I understand your I don't think you'd ever run for office on that platform of you are going to try to, the one thing you're going to do is pass legislation that will prevent people from dropping their peanut shells on the seat below them at the goose that laid the golden egg. But maybe you would.
I wouldn't make a law against it. I would just suggest that Target Field should have, it's Target. They should have plastic bag night for your sour. You make a promotion out of it.
That.
Everyone gets a plastic bag when they come in.
I would make it a brown bag so that in case it doesn't work, you could put it over your head. Did you hear about that? Do you remember? It was about, 5, 6, 7 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, that the St. Paul City Council passed an ordinance requiring nightclubs that provide live music to provide you with earplugs. You can protect your ears. Apparently, the Minneapolis City Council just passed an ordinance requiring the Twins pass out blindfolds to fans at the stadium. So, and I think that's a good idea because you could be scarred for life. Little Billy, little Susie sees that team. Huh. Man, that could be just you could have nightmares.
For the sake of protecting our children, shouldn't we have an age minimum for even going to a game?
Maybe. Yep. Maybe.
Should we be allowing 6, 7, 8-year-olds to be able to see this?
Yep. I think you're probably right. There should be like a PG 17.
21 and over, yeah.
Or NC, is it called NC 17?
Yeah.
I don't know what the ratings are. Esteemed columnist Jim Suhan, Fish Wrap Factory West Side, wrote a piece today that I only got through the first paragraph. And not because it wasn't a good piece or wasn't a good topic, but it just triggered something in my brain right away. And I said, well, this is what I have in common. We're kindred spirits. Former Twins manager Tom Kelly and the Common Man. It says, Suhan, 2025 start might be bad, but it's not as bad as 2016. The column starts with the great American philosopher Tom Kelly once questioned a questioner, which was his wont, by asking this. When you ask me about us getting off to a bad start, well, when does the start end? I get asked about our start after 1 game, 2 games, a week, a month. When does the start end? Hubba. And that's like me, the beginning of the end, the middle of the end of the end, right? I mean, and then how long is the beginning of the end? How long is the middle of the end? And then how long is the end of the end? And if there's a beginning of the end, there has to be a beginning to the beginning of the end. And then there has to be a middle to the beginning of the end, and then an end to the beginning of the end, and then you move on to the middle of the end. And there has to be a beginning to the middle of the end, a middle to the middle of the end, and an end to the middle of the end. Then there's got to be a beginning of the end, the middle of the end, and then there has to be the end of the end of the end. So that could be a very long time. It could be quick, painless. Matter of fact, if I continue on this route, the program director might make it the end of the end of the end for me right now. The other thing, this is similar to the question I've been asking all year about when are we going to start Gellin and Stackin? It's the same thing. I asked the question over and over again. It was a blockbuster, shocking trade that reverberated not only in the Twin Cities, but all throughout the association. 3 days before training camp, Big Meow became Bodega Cat. We traded him to the New York Knickerbockers for DiVincenzo, Julius Randle, and then I think there was another piece, I don't remember, maybe draft picks, but those were the 3 big names that were involved in the trade. And I think everybody was going, oh, man, I thought we were going to run it back again. We went to the Western Conference Finals, playing with our 2 big men, Bodega Cat, Gobert, all the rest, Big Meow, Nas, Knees. And all of a sudden, one of the, the guy that really had been the heart and soul of the club, and he wasn't a perfect player. Sometimes he had some defensive liabilities, and he liked to whine a lot about every call, but what NBA player doesn't? But I really believed for the longest time, and I still believe this, that he was the guy that, because he'd been with the team for 8-10 years, whatever it was, he was drafted by the Wolves, and he was the one constant. And I think because of his loyalty to the organization and to the city, never demanded a trade, as bad as they were, that we know of. I don't ever remember it coming out that he was demanding a trade. I think the other guy, it just seemed like the other players kind of rallied around him, and he was kind of the guy. And they all, and that's why we had 2 wonderful years, including the March of the Western Conference playoffs. And then we trade him away. And I do know there is some time for a couple of players to adjust. I just don't believe that it should take as long as it has. I just believe that you're professional athletes. You've been playing, every guy's been playing since in-house basketball, right? And they've always, my guess, from an early age, most of them aren't late bloomers. They were probably the best player on their in-house team, their travel team, their high school team, college team, whatever the case may be. They were always the best, right? And so you played basketball. I mean, basketball, there's some strategy to it. There's some complexities to it, but it's not a Rubik's Cube. It's not rocket science. It's like, you set screens and you hit threes and you get in the corner and you run your offense and get back on defense and get in a guy's face. It's all pretty simple. But when they got off to that slow start, and I was concerned, I think rightfully, I was told, well, you just got to wait for him to gel. And then I asked out loud, well, how long does it take to gel? And I got inundated with text messages, people saying, oh, it takes 20 games, it takes 20 games. Well, after 20 games, we still hadn't gelled. We were still struggling. And I said, well, how long does it take? Oh, it's probably about 30 games. And it was about 40 games. And it was about 50, 60, 70. Now, I think we are starting to gel a little bit, but I also think it's because that we talked about this yesterday. The schedule right now, as you look at it on paper, you go, well, this is one of the least difficult schedules in all the NBA ever since like the All-Star break, which to my point about teams sort of tanking it right now, Brooklyn knows, speaking of the beginning of the end, the middle of the end, of the end of the end, they know the end of the end of the end of the season is like days away, right? So it's like, I don't think, you've heard me do this bit many, many times. I don't think in that locker room they were going, let's show those Timberwolves what Brooklyn Nets basketball is all about. Well, we've already seen what it's all about, and it's not very good. And so now it's like, well, why? And there might be a guy or two on the team playing for a contract that's giving it the old college try, but the others aren't. But if the whole idea of getting off to a quick start, bad start, how long does it last? And I think TK's right, where he says, when does the start end? Is it after 1 game, 2 games, a week, a month? Same thing. When are we going to start gelling? Is it 20 games, 30, 40, 50 games? And that's why and I guess that's probably part of the attraction to sports is because you never really know. And so we'll see what it says. Here's a text message that came in that says, Cat, the heart and the soul of the team, that's laughable. Really? Is it really laughable? I mean, I think most of the players even said so. They were devastated when he left. I don't think it's laughable. He was the heart and soul of the team, more so than Ant.
I think maybe early in his career that might have been laughable, but
yeah,
he clearly had an impact on last year's team.
Yes, absolutely. He had a major impact on the team. This one says, Common, you worry too much. This year's team is much better than last year's team. That's a cheap shot to Rosen yesterday.
Always.
Where he said it was a better team. This one says, Common, have you ever met Tom Kelly? Yes, I have. I've golfed with Tom Kelly before. I didn't I recant this tale last week or a week before? First time I ever saw Tom Kelly was in the bowels of the Metrodome. I was cub reporter, 91 World Series, running up the staircase. Got to one of the landings, turned, and started going up the stairs, and there was TK slowly walking up. And as I squeezed by him to go to the interview area, I said, "Great game, TK." He goes, That's why they pay us the big bucks. That's Tony. That's Common Man doing Tony Lee, while Tony Lee is doing Tom Kelly. I got to play with TK and Dark Star. I recanted that tale on a number of occasions. My favorite part of that was when he looked at my golf shoes. They were wingtip blood red Oakleys with black trim. He looks at me and goes, "What the hell are those?" And I go, "These are my golf shoes. You like them?" And he goes, "I'm not making this up." He goes, "You wouldn't get out of the parking lot in New Jersey wearing those." And I played brilliantly that day. I shot 1 over 73 at the old Hillcrest Golf Course. And I was inspired by TK. There was some pressure, you know? And I'm thinking to myself, he's got to think I'm one of the best athletes he's ever seen. I mean,
he's thinking Blackjack Morris in 91 or this performance by
Yes.
Con. What's the greatest athletic achievement I've ever witnessed?
And had I not got greedy on the 13th hole, the number one handicapped hole, I had a par putt uphill from about 15 feet. And I goosed it past. I really wanted to make it. And it went by like about 10 feet. Don't ask me, but it did. So now I got the bogey putt coming, and I missed that. So I made double and then shot 1 over. Had I made the 2 putt there and shot an even par 72, he'd probably say it was as good as Blackjack Morris's performance. That's my other favorite story. When I met Blackjack for the first time right after the game, 5 minutes after the greatest Game 7 World Series history. I'm slapping him on the back. I've told this story. I'm in Hastings. His boy's playing basketball, and so is mine at a tournament. I go, "Blackjack, Common Man from the Fan." Yeah, I know who you are. And I go, "You've ruined it for me." He goes, "What do you mean?" I go, I said, I was there 5 minutes after the greatest Game 7 World Series history. I was on the field slapping you on the back. It's the greatest game I've ever seen, and every sporting event that I watch now just pales in comparison. And he pauses and he goes, "I can understand that." And I don't think he was being cocky, like, "Well, yeah, it was me." Yeah. I think he was just saying, Game 7, 10 innings, complete game, win the World Series, and we'll see you tomorrow night. And do you kind of agree with that? Can you see where I can still get excited for a sporting event and watch it and enjoy it, but
nothing will match
that.
No.
I don't think.
I still get goosebumps like watching old highlights from it.
Unless I suppose
it's 34 years ago.
Now you got to really use your imagination here. If the Vikings were ever to get to the big game and like won in some dramatic fashion or something,
sure,
that might be it. But it would be hard to, because the beauty,
if they had won like in Minneapolis Miracle fashion to win the big game.
Yes, exactly. Where it looked like it was all over and they win the game when they weren't supposed to. Then I think you might go, well. Because even like the Miracle on Ice, which I didn't get as excited. I was in the middle of my Haight-Ashbury days then too, so it didn't really even matter much to me. But that was like, that was just to get to the championship game. Then it was kind of like, now it was like, and that was great to win that game and get there, right? Because nobody thought they would. But I mean, there was a letdown the game after. I shouldn't say a letdown, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, we beat Russia and now we're playing Finland. Oh, they're not very good, and we won the gold medal. So, but the World Series, it was over. That was it. The game.
And there was a great lead up to it, right? Like it was a great series going up to it. You just had the Puckett walk-off home run. We'll see you tomorrow night, the game before. I mean, it was just a steady build up to that moment, and it absolutely delivered.
Yes, it did. It delivered in more ways than one. This one says, "You have so many great stories. Have you ever thought about writing a book?" Speaking of that, I will be selling them at the Flop, Sweat, and Tears tonight. I got about like 80 left, if that. I mean, they're going like hotcakes. Do you think anybody would? I don't think I want to order any more, hardware. You got hardware and stuff. I don't want to order any more books per se, because I mean, let's just say they've been selling certainly not brisk sales, tepid probably. Between moribund and tepid, I still sell a few occasionally, especially at shows. But I've been encouraged to do an audiobook. I mean, as if you haven't had enough of me 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. How about an audiobook?
Oh, boy. Are you voicing it?
Yeah, I would voice it, yeah. It's my book. Unless you want to voice it.
Well, for certain payment, I would.
Let me ask you this. Have you ever done an audiobook before?
No, I've considered it. I would like to do that.
What What's the delivery system? I mean, because you want to sell the audiobook, right? You're not just going to give it away for free, right? So I don't know how that would even work. I guess I could investigate.
Given away digitally.
Okay.
Or on...
That sounds like a heck of an idea. I might want to do that. I might want to do that someday. So anyway.
By the way, back to the 91 World Series.
Yeah.
John Smoltz was the pitcher for the Atlanta Braves.
Mm-hmm.
My sources tell me that John Smoltz is a member at Tepetonka, which will be opening next summer. That's what my sources tell me.
At Tepetonka.
So we might be seeing some John Smoltz around here.
Tepetonka. And Smoltzy, he's a really good golfer. Really good.
Yes.
He's got a lot of talent. Tepetonka is that, and again, I apologize. I do not remember the guy's name, the money behind it, a wealthy Minnesotan guy. And he built the golf. We had him on Tee to Green last summer. And it's like Jeff Ogilvy, who won the U.S. Open many, many years ago. He's the designer behind it. I think Ogilvy's an Australian, and he's behind it. And this golf course is supposed to be spectacular. It's in the Spicer area, isn't it? I think
New London, yeah,
New London Spicer area, and it's supposed to be one of those. I think you got to have a cool $250,000 to get into the course. I think you got to have big money, big prizes to get in, and it's supposed to be great. And I'd love to be a member. I don't have $250,000 to give them to become a member. I'll just play Loggers and Prestwick and Oakmarsh and Royal Club and a few others. I'm not going to go. But it would be fun to play. I'm hoping that because I am the unofficial ambassador of Minnesota Golf, he might at least let me play the golf course once. But he might go, "Who are you again?" No, it's members only. So, you know what, Tenby?
I have some connections with some members.
I know I've been a little hard on you, Tenby, over the years, but you really, I feel bad about it. I feel sorry for it. And I'd love to go golfing with you sometime. So you know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy?
I have two that,
really
are going to be members and have said, "Would you like to go golf there next summer?" I'm like, "Yep, I sure would."
I'm raising my hand, and I'm all in.
Are you throwing your hat in the ring?
Yeah. Well, because I might be able to do something for you. I might be able to get you onto a Posh and Tony golf course that's members only, and because I know a guy, so maybe you get me down to Tepetonka, and I'll get you somewhere else here in the Twin Cities.
We'll see.
What are we?
Ultimately, it's not up to me. I'm not the member there. But
well, that's true too.
I might be able to pull some strings.
We call it the barter system. That's what this country was built on all those many years ago. Let's take a break and come back. We'll do 5-3-4. No Lil B today. She's on a spring break with the family. So we'll do 5-3-4. We'll tap dance 1:15 to 1:30. Then we're excited and delighted to bring Chad Greenway, Meat Sauce, and John Creasel into the Studio A for a little program password right here on the Fan.
Yeah, the Wolves lost in the standings despite winning on the court.
I'm Rodney Williams.
And I'm Travis Holloway. Welcome to the Wealth Break Podcast, a real conversation about finance.
Let's be honest. Building wealth doesn't look the same for everyone.
I feel like sometimes being broke is a cycle and that we might have to revisit that.
And we're not stopping at success stories.
What happens when it doesn't go right? How do you cope with it?
Because wealth isn't just about money. It's about creating a life where you thrive and help others do the same.
Listen to the Wealth Break Podcast on the iHeartRadio app.
For some of us, personal finances aren't just personal. They include a lot more people than ourselves. Loved ones, neighbors, the communities we call home, and the causes we hold in our hearts. At Thrivent, we help plan your financial picture with the bigger picture in mind. Because even though our business is helping guide your finances, our ambition is to make it mean so much more. Thrivent, where money means more. Connect with us at Thrivent.com.
You know, some people say that Odoo business management software is like fertilizer, the way it promotes growth and all. But other people say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. And there's some people who would even say Odoo's individual software programs come together to build the perfect suite like building blocks. Well, Odoo is all of these things. Fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. So sign up now at odoo.com. ODOO.com.
You know how we're always talking about what's next? Well, I found it. It's called Formula E. Forget everything you think you know about racing. This isn't just cars going fast. It's like a supercomputer on wheels. The tech is insane, and the drivers, they're like chess grandmasters at 200 miles per hour. You've got to see it. Trust me, you'll be hooked. Follow Formula E live on Roku. Next race, Miami, April 12th.